Hey, welcome back to the American Dream. The entrepreneurial journey always has its ups and downs. Imagine the 2008 market crash causing you to lose $100 million. That's the story of David Meltzer, who joins us on the American Dream. And there's a lot more to your story as well. Written books, keynote speaker with Forbes magazine right in there. So got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun, but it's part of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, so you've had your fair share of ups and downs. I know you write about it in your books. So I'm not sharing anything that you haven't personally, publicly shared. But for anyone who doesn't know you, give us the story. Where did you start? Take us up to 2008.
Just real quickly, grew up poor, wanted to be rich so I could buy my mom a house and a car. Ended up making a choice out of law school to get into technology. Worked for West Publishing. In 9 months, made my first $1 million. Bought my mom that house and the car.
What year was this?
In 92.
Okay.
And then by 95, we got bought out for $3.4 billion. Set me in a different branding mode to brand myself as a technology guy.
Wow.
Went up to the Silicon Valley, raised $169 million for a company called EveryPath, wireless proxy server space, then got hired as Samsung CEO of their first convergence device, which we now call smartphone. So I was the CEO of the PCE phone, the world's first CE device.
Wow.
And made a ton of money. They kicked me out because the company got too big. I was out over my skis. Started investing in technology, real estate. My dad was a commercial broker. So I ended up with a golf course, a ski mountain, 33 properties here in San Diego alone. And I overextended myself, thought I could always borrow against the equity I had. The banks went under, and then all of a sudden said, as I was in lawsuits too, right, liquidating my ego, that's my terminology. All of a sudden they said, hey, you got millions of dollars, but you can't have it. I learned a valuable
So you have all
lesson.
this equity in real estate and you can't tap into it.
Can't tap into it.
A lot of people went through that. I mean, even on a smaller scale. I mean, individual homeowners and everything else is a tough time.
Yeah, so I lived here in Rancho Santa Fe. I just made a conscious decision not to fight it. I wanted to pay back everybody that I owed because I figured liquidating the properties through bankruptcy would pay any debts I had. So I actually came out of bankruptcy in a moral position that I felt comfortable with. But during that process, I met Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agent, became CEO.
What year is this?
This was in 2008.
Okay, so market crashes, you're going through all this, this liquidation, this BK.
Yeah.
Meet Lee Steinberg.
Lee Steinberg. Within 48 hours, he hired me as his COO. Within 6 months, I became the CEO of the most notable sports agency. Most people know him from Jerry Maguire.
Sure. So explain this. How do you go from tech to a sports agency and be able to carry the skill set over?
Great question, because most people want to be Jerry Maguire.
Sure.
Right? And they still come up to me. I always focused, because I went from being a lawyer to technology, I always focused in on skills, knowledge, and desire. I played football and baseball in college. You know, I really a sports guy. I always dreamed of being a sports agent. But for me, I had developed skills. So when I talked to Lee Steinberg, I wasn't looking for a job. I was representing a friend for a reality show called Showtime.
Okay.
But I talked about my skill set, my administrative, my organization, my operation skill set, my ability to raise money, as well as my technology background, and it caught Lee's eye. And so out of all the thousands of resumes that he had to take Jeff Morad's job, the old owner of the Padres, who was COO of Lee's, I got the job.
Wow.
Because of my skills, knowledge, and desire. And they did. They translated completely over. And I still look for kids by their values, their skills, and their knowledge, not by whether they worked for CAA or David Dunn or anyone.
Skills, knowledge, and desire. What were the biggest lessons you've learned through the adversity of 2008?
Value. So I live my life. I wake up every morning now, instead of trying to take and compete, there's no resistance in my life. I actually shifted the paradigm and said, you know what? I have a great gift. I'm going to start giving it, meaning I pray to God for 10 people that I can help every day. It's very simple. I work just as hard. I love to work. I enjoy the pursuit of my potential. But my goal in life is to provide value, and I trust the universe that it'll bring everything back to me that I asked for, and I've learned to ask big.
So you mentioned you're a former athlete, so you have that competitive spirit.
Let's not embarrass myself, right? I played in college.
Hey, I claim it too, and I didn't get through anything past high school.
Right.
But you have that competitive spirit in you, that entrepreneurial spirit. That kind of started you, got you to where you're going, but then over time, maybe humbled by 2008, you learned to focus more on values and giving, and you feel like that's reciprocated pretty well for you.
Yeah, served my way up, served my way out. I still do. I trust in the fact that if I provide value, that the universe, it creates a void for the universe to fill, and it's much easier to fill that void than me making promises. And so all I do is stay focused in on the value that I can provide. I do believe in a consistent, every day, persistent, without quit, enjoyment of the pursuit of my potential.
Wow.
And that's the pursuit of that value that I can help others with.
So fast forward us to now.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're in 2018.
Blessed. I started a business with Warren Moon, who was a client of mine and a partner at Lee's. We have a sports marketing company with a motto of make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. We have really different sides of the business: media, sponsorship, and then philanthropy.
Okay.
So those are the three businesses that we're in. I've been able to build my own brand by speaking around the world, writing books. I have a great podcast, a top 5 podcast called Playbook, and then the #1 digital business show called Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneur Magazine.
Tell us about Elevator Pitch.
Elevator Pitch is my way of giving back. I felt that I get pitched so much, right? I'm involved in a lot of funds. I raise a lot of money. I felt that people didn't have that 60-second stimulating interest down. They're great geniuses, and they were missing opportunities because they couldn't articulate value. So I created a show with Entrepreneur where you get 60 seconds in an elevator.
So Entrepreneur Magazine, you created the show with.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah, and they're in an elevator for 60 seconds, 4 judges, and they have 60 seconds to convince us to open the doors. If they open the doors, it's a mentoring show. I call it Shark Tank with Soul. We actually mentor you. We have several options, from PO financing to all of us together investing. We also have an entrepreneur fund that will invest. And then we also have Indiegogo involved, who did all of the crowdfunding in case we want you to prove us to the market and prove us wrong. We can come back and invest again.
So you have a big belief, you believe in capitalism.
Absolutely.
But capitalism to allow you to be more philanthropic.
Yeah, in fact, I wrote a book called Compassionate Capitalism that shifts the paradigm of value, right? It's called Journey to the Soul of Business. That why not challenge ourselves to not only make a lot of money, but in the process, like Elon Musk and others, create social impact and change. And by doing so, I don't, whether you believe in karma or not, I just believe in true value in math, that the more that I give, the more it's going to come back to me.
You're on a show called The American Dream. Can I ask you what you believe the American Dream is?
American dream is to pursue your potential. I travel around the world, I speak around the world, and not everybody has the opportunity to enjoy the pursuit of their potential. You can come here with nothing. I was born with 6 kids and a single mom in a 2-bedroom apartment in Akron, Ohio. Wow. And by the time I was 9, I was living in San Diego, and by the time I was 25, I was a multimillionaire. I was afforded the luxury of pursuing my potential. It's the only thing standing between you and the American dream, and your dream is you. Other countries, you can't say that in.
Yep, love it. Wow. Dave, great interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, more of The American Dream coming up next. Welcome back to The American Dream. There is no doubt about it, the real estate industry is under disruption and chaos. You have companies like Purple Bricks and Redfins trying to commoditize the industry to circumvent the realtor. I'm a big believer that to gain market share, you've got to be a great marketer, and with that disruption creates amazing opportunities. One of the best marketers I've ever met in real estate, Seth O'Byrne, joins us on the show right now. Seth, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just won a big award as it pertains specifically to the marketing of real estate.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, we stoked to talk about this. The San Diego Business Journal, obviously, the go-to publication for people in business right now.
Yep.
They do an award every year called the Best in Real Estate, and we were really proud because BOSA, when they were building Pacific Gate, identified a few key brokers that in the resale market, they wanted to help push the project along. Well, we did a whole video marketing series around Pacific Gate, and we're really happy to say San Diego Business Journal gave us best real estate deals for our marketing.
But let's be clear. Tell everyone real quickly what Pacific Gate is.
Yes. So Pacific Gate is the most expensive high-rise ever built in San Diego.
Yeah.
So
it's insane.
Yeah.
Couple of the amenities, share.
There's a yacht share, a private yacht share. So there's one yacht that everybody it's in the HOA has. You have a fleet of Porsches that you can drive, that you can take out on trade. There's something called a chef concierge, which has nothing to do with being a chef. It's a concierge that essentially does everything and anything you want. And so the penthouse sold for $15 million. It's what's called a super prime building, which is one of the rarest buildings for high rises at the highest level you could get to. And so we did hopefully a fairly inspired marketing project around it. But we were just excited because this year has been amazing for getting recognized for all the work we put in.
So marketing luxury real estate, which is a lot different than, your median prices, whether it's in Southern California or all across the country. Now, the American Dream is a national television show. We're all across, I think, 23 cities now, from San Diego to New York City to Seattle to Dallas, all the way to the middle, and St. Louis and Cincinnati. And we always talk about how marketing is so important when it comes to properties, helping them get top dollar. What we've found through our network of power players, which is a trademark term on the American Dream, many of our elite luxury realtors in their markets are flying you there to market their properties, these 10, 20, 30 plus $1 million properties. Tell us some stuff you've done recently.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing, 2017 and 18 have been incredible for this. So, last year we went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and advertised one of the most expensive homes ever constructed in Idaho on the lake. We were there for 3 days, created an amazing video with Sotheby's out there. Then we went up and worked with Wes Jones at Keller Williams on one of the most expensive houses on the market in the entire state of Washington. 4 houses on Lake Washington, unbelievable house. And we went to Aspen, Colorado, and advertised a house that actually owns 400 acres on the backside of Ajax. So you actually own part of Aspen Mountain.
Wow.
There's no way you can be king of the hill if you're not the king of Aspen, right?
Yeah.
That's where the billionaires pushed out the millionaires. So we got hired to go out there and advertise $30 million in real estate in 48 hours. And just came back from, I believe, my favorite trip we've ever done, which is we went to Steamboat, Colorado, and we worked with Steamboat Sotheby's and all the brokers there, and used the ability for us now to make our content national with the American Dream, but craft really highly produced content around this amazing place, Steamboat, Colorado. Most people have never been there, and I think it's one of the greatest places I've ever been.
So let me chime in here. So you got these other top realtors all across the country. Now, some of them aren't tied into the American Dream. There's an average of 10 to 15,000 realtors per city across the country. They're reaching out to you and they're saying, hey, Seth, seen your work. A lot of people follow you on social media, which, by the way, I encourage you. You want to see some amazing videos and marketing, follow Seth O'Byrne on Instagram. But a lot of these people have found you. It's kind of a connected network. And they're saying, look, this is a really high-end property. I got to get this thing moving. I got to impress this seller. They're hiring you to come out.
Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, so we've got a deal that we're putting together in Hawaii right now, where we're working on the deal as a team. But we have a lot of deals. More often than not, we'll get brought into other cities, and it typically only works with trophy properties.
Right, we're talking high end.
High end, yeah. $5 million is probably enough to start thinking about doing this. But a lot of times we're focusing on 10.
And to be clear, for those watching the show, you need this kind of marketing on a high-end property because you have international buyers. Many of those buyers are incredibly savvy, cash buyers from all over the world. So the whole open house in the front yard, a couple posts on social media, that ain't going to get it sold, and it's certainly not going to get it sold for top dollar. Yeah. So these agents are saying, look, we love what you do. We like your strategies. Come out here, help us get this thing sold. Yeah,
so, and why it's powerful, we call it dual purpose marketing, right? Or kind of, we run these 2 marketing channels in parallel. One is chronicling to our 24,000 followers on Instagram and 20 other thousand followers on Facebook in the real estate arena. Like, we chronicle in real time us flying out there, the experience of seeing this part of the world for the first time, is showcasing all these amazing properties. And then at the end of it, we come out with usually a series of like 5 to 10 videos. Partially, it's about us using our eyes in San Diego, real estate experts, but unfamiliar usually with the cities that we're going to, and seeing these homes for the first time and kind of seeing the effect it has on us and how inspired we are. And then a lot of videos just down and dirty, like marketing the property and creating a series of videos that we then help them figure out a sequencing plan with. So on Facebook, we can essentially create a click funnel for luxury clients. We've got one that we're doing right now on a $20 million property. And we have identified 4 billionaires in China and Japan through these marketing techniques that we've learned. And we know that they're watching the content, and we're just spoon feeding them the exact perfect content for that property. It's been incredibly successful. And I hope it's the beginning of lots of this.
No, it's fun to watch. So what Seth does better than anyone is he creates a story around the lifestyle of that property. And you would maybe call that content, right? Sure. A storyline, creating content. But then the distribution side of it is, you're mentioning targeting billionaires in other parts of the world where not only are you creating this great story, but you're finding the people to put that story in front of. I don't know anyone doing this all across the country. And I've been traveling, meeting the best brokers everywhere and sitting right next to who I consider to be the best. So if you are selling a piece of luxury real estate, great guy to learn from. If you are a realtor, great guy to maybe reach out to. I've seen it firsthand. It's been a remarkable journey to watch. Seth O'Byrne,
Cool.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
More of The American Dream coming up next. Well, as you know, The American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
Welcome back. Our next interview takes place in San Antonio, Texas, where today we have Rudy Sedano. He is a team lead with the Sedano team with RE/MAX Exclusive, and his guest today is Fernando Reyna, Texans Home Inspections. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. So great to have you here today.
Sarah, thank you for having us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Fernando, welcome to the show. And Rudy, you've been here a ton of times. Can you kind of just tell us how you know Fernando and maybe if you guys have worked together in the past?
Yeah, so I met Fernando about a couple months ago, and we had a couple buyers that he did some inspections and really liked the way he was very thorough and the way he worked. So had him come by the office and said, hey, look, maybe we can do some more business. I like the way you do stuff, and I want to make you part of my team so that when somebody has an inspection need, maybe you can go out there and help us out.
Oh, amazing. So you definitely must have saw something in him to want to bring him on board. But Fernando, my question for you is, what is really the importance of getting a home inspection?
Well, the importance, two things come in mind. To protect the interests of my family, essentially the clients, and to capitalize on the investment. We want to ensure that when we're inspecting and representing the client from a buyer's perspective, that the structure is in great condition and that safety is absolutely the most important thing. Ensuring that the client does get a great home, to protect their family. Also I would say from a seller's perspective, you want to capitalize on your investment. You want to get your home inspected. You want to list everything that you want to fix so you can fix it up front before putting it on the market. And then you get a great team like the Sedano team that would go out and get you more money for that property. In terms, it's a win-win situation for the seller. It's a win-win situation for the Sedano team, and then the inspector gets business.
Well, Fernando, I like how you really outlined the importance of having that home inspection for both the seller side as well as the buyer. So what are some of the things that you're really looking for in a home inspection, and maybe some of the things that would come up?
Well, we're inspecting from foundation all the way to your roof covering and everything in between. So we want to ensure safety on your electrical, your plumbing, your heating, ventilation, and air condition, as well as your foundation and roof system. So everything in between and all the components that make up the system is what we're looking for.
Okay. Well, I'm curious for you, Rudy, do you sometimes have to really kind of defend the home inspection, or sometimes buyers may be a little apprehensive to get one done? They might see a beautiful home and think there's got to be nothing wrong with this, but do you really try to portray the importance of this home inspection to your clients?
Yeah, so what we do is when we sit down with all our buyers, we tell them that they got to get a home inspection. We do not like to take anybody and say that, oh, we don't want an inspection. Because there's so many liabilities, and we just want to make sure that they have peace of mind at night when they sleep, that they know they bought a good house, that the inspector found everything, because we look at 5 major components. We look at AC, we look at plumbing, we look at electrical, foundation, and roofing. So we lay that out for all our buyers to know that, hey, when we're going into this inspection, those are the 5 main components that we're going to look for in that.
Absolutely. And now you have really Fernando on your side, and it sounds like his great group there with Texans Home Inspections helping you out on that end. So everybody's really covered. And I like how both of you said really having a win-win at the end of the day.
Yes,
well,
sir.
anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on. Fernando, it was great to meet you. And Rudy, always great to talk with you as well. Thanks again.
Likewise. Thank you.
And stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Next up on the show, we have Christoper Tijerina. He is the lead agent with Roadrunner Realty, and he brings along a special guest with him today. Please welcome back Christoper to the show. Christoper, it is so nice to have you back. What's been going on with you, and who have you brought with you today?
Hi, Sarah. I'm very excited to be back. Thank you. I did bring a special guest with me today. I have been getting so many questions this year since we've been coming on the show, and I've had the one question come up over and over again, and people have been asking, should we be looking into buying or building a new home or a pre-owned home? And so I thought the show would be the perfect environment to discuss that and explain it. So I brought an expert with me. This is my good friend, Tony Halstead. He is the Alamo Ranch Director of Sales for Chesmar Homes.
Amazing. Well, Tony, welcome.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. It is a question that comes up quite a bit, and there are, I think, 3 really big differences in buying a pre-owned home versus buying a brand new home from a home builder. And the first one really that I want to touch on is energy efficiency of the home, because it's something that has dramatically changed. If you go back to homes that were built, let's go back maybe even 10 years ago, energy efficiency was not something that was on the board. It's not what builders were worried about. It's not what home buyers were looking for. They wanted the bling and the upgrades to the home. They wanted the magic of the home. No one really thought about the energy efficiency of the home, and now that really has become a driving factor for folks as they go, hey, I want to be comfortable in this home. And not just temperature-wise, but I mean wallet-wise. I'd rather spend that money going out and doing stuff with my family than having to spend it on my electric bill just to stay comfortable. So you're seeing a big drive and a big change to energy efficiency. The other thing, and I think this is one that really resonates with buyers, is the warranty of the home, because it is a very big deal. If you look at a brand new home, you're going to say, hey, home builders are going to give you a warranty that covers everything for up to 10 years on that home. Whereas you go back and you say, okay, hey, we've been looking at this pre-owned home, and what's my worry? Well, my worry is the roof going to leak? Is the AC going to go out at the worst time? Because it always does. Am I going to lose the water heater when I have 6 guests staying in my house and I no longer have hot water? Those are the things that people worry about, and you've taken that out of the equation with the new home, and that's kind of a big factor. Here's another one that I think people don't really think about openly or outwardly, but it really is a big deal, and it's something that we've seen change, and that's the interior architecture of the home. Floor plans have changed. If you go back again, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, homes were very compartmentalized. The kitchen was over here, the living room was here, dining room was here. If you were having guests at your house and you were throwing a party, you were really stuck in the kitchen hoping that everything was going well, trying to entertain your guests. You never really saw them until the party was over. That's now changed, where you're now having very open floor plans where you have the living room, the kitchen, a breakfast, a dining area, another entertainment space, and people are now spending time with their friends and family in a more open living environment.
He brings up a very good point. Most of the time when we're walking through older homes, we're always talking about what walls we're going to tear down or what rooms we're going to open up to one another. And if you're working with a good builder, they've already taken that into consideration with their design.
Amazing. So now, Tony, I'm just curious, what are some of the benefits of maybe buying a Chesmar home versus just going with another home builder?
You know, it's kind of a loaded question. I'm really happy that you asked, because I think what you're seeing is you're seeing changes again in the way Chesmar does business versus everybody else. And that was actually an approach that we took. Think about it this way. If you go out to buy a home, you know what your wants are. Everybody has wants to a home, and you're willing to spend what you can to get the wants. But at the end of the day, there are absolutely needs that you have to have in that home. And builders know that, and for that, they're going to make you pay for those needs that you have to have. Chesmar has actually taken an opposite approach to that and going, hey, if everybody needs to have this in the home, Why is it not an included feature of the home? And we're talking about simple things like garage door openers or medicine cabinets, ceiling fans, sprinkler systems, blinds on the window so you actually have privacy on the home. And we look at it this way. If you're going to spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, whatever that number is on a home, your first step after you move into that home should not be a trip to the hardware store to get the items that you need just to make the home livable on day one.
Of course.
All right. So
Well, we're kind of,
another excellent point.
yeah, amazing, excellent points, which I'm sure are answering a lot of people's questions. I know we're running out of time, but Christoper, I just want to get to you really quickly. What do you see coming in the future for new homes, and how will that really affect the San Antonio market as a whole?
Oh, there are a lot of changes on the horizon. We're being told to expect 1.1 million people moving to San Antonio over the next 20 years. That's going to change everything. It's going to change how our kids go to school, how we buy our groceries, and absolutely how we buy and live in our homes. So with that type of demand on the horizon, I have to believe that that's going to impact price and availability. So you invest in yourself, you invest in your family, and that should pay dividends for decades if you act now.
Perfect. Well, Christoper, thank you as always. Thanks for bringing Tony on. Really great points that you both have made. Thank you so much. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.